On this episode of System Integrators Weekly, crucial updates on upcoming new hardware that you need to know. Plus, there's a new SI on the scene, and their origin story might surprise you. All that and more on this episode of SI Weekly.
Let's go, nerds!
Hello, everyone. I'm Brea Thorne. Welcome to SI Weekly. And no, I'm not going to change the name, even though it hasn't been very weekly for the last month and a half or so, couple months. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of months, that's for sure. Where the heck have I been? Well, there was Computex, and then I did a 7800X3D video on different systems for that, and then came, after that it was some family health issues, which are resolved now, which is great. But then I got sick as well, and just then TwitchCon came up. But that's really dumbing it down quite a bit. There was a lot going on, but here we are, and there's a lot to update you guys on, including stuff from AMD and Nvidia, and then a new SI that I found out about that I think you guys are going to like quite a bit. And we're going to talk about their story and where they came from, because it was very, very cool. And I got to meet them for the first time at TwitchCon. So we'll be going over that very shortly after I let you know this video is sponsored by VIP CDK Deals.
The best place to go when you want to get yourself an OEM Windows license to get rid of that annoying watermark and unlock all the customization Windows has to offer. So instead of paying well over $100 for a retail version of Windows, you can get an OEM key for a fraction of the price. Plus, you can use my code BRE25 to get a nice fat discount off of the already discounted price. Keep in mind that this is an OEM key that gets attached to this system and cannot be used with another one or if you change your hardware. Make sure you get the right key for your operating system. For more information on how to use CDK Deals, click the link in the description saying here's how it works, and I'll walk you through the whole thing. Thank you, CDK Deals, for continuing to support the channel.
So before we get into it, let's go over a few disclaimers. This video is being filmed for the week of September 30th, Monday, September 30th, 2024. Any pricing and availability that you see in this video are subject to change, and that happens quite often and quite quickly. So if you see something you like, but it's no longer available or for the same price, you can always come to my streams every Tuesday and Thursday at around 8 p.m. Central Time, right here on YouTube and over at twitch.tv/BreaThorne, where I can help you one-on-one finding something that's suitable for you. The next thing is you will hear opinions here. And in this one, you're going to hear speculation as well, based on rumors and such, and some info I've picked up here and there. My opinions are my own. Your opinions are your own. It's very simple opinion arithmetic there. And feel free to disagree with me. And you can do so politely, please, in the comments below if you'd like to, or you can go into the tech discussion channel in our Discord, which is linked in the description below as well. The next thing is, this is not financial advice. I'm not here to tell you as an individual what's right for you, because I don't know exactly what's right for you. I'm going to talk about what I see here and give my opinions on it and give a breakdown of different things. That's what I do in these episodes. If you want more tailored advice, see disclaimer 1, where I talked about my streams where I help people one-on-one. And then the final thing is this, and this is a really important one. If you are on the fence about whether you should buy a pre-built PC or go DIY for your first PC and build it yourself, then you should strongly consider building it yourself, because you can generally get more for the money. This is not me disparaging pre-builts in any way, okay? Because this whole show is built around helping people find the right pre-builts for them. So clearly I support that, and it's a great way to get into PC gaming. And if you want to, you can later on get into PC DIY through that pre-built that you get. But it is a well-known fact that you can save money, because it is generally cheaper to build it yourself. That's just for those who are on the fence between going DIY or going pre-built. If you know you want a pre-built, hey, I'm here for that too. Let's get on with it and talk about upcoming stuff, because God, we've just been getting inundated with launches and announcements of new things coming out. And when you think about it, 40 series Nvidia GPUs are pretty much getting close to 2 years old now for the 4090 and 4080. Now we're going to take a look at some rumors for that, and I can share a little bit of information there. And for AMD's CPU side of things, well, they're probably going to be coming out with an X3D chip a little sooner than we were expecting, which is awesome. There are rumors flying around everywhere. We're looking at this Digital Trends article right here stating that AMD's Ryzen 7 9800X3D might show up sooner than expected. Now, at first we were hearing that it was going to be coming out later in this year anyway, Q4 of 2024. Then it was like speculation and rumors that it was going to be pushed back to Q1 of 2025. Well, Intel is going to be launching Arrow Lake CPUs in late October, so AMD is not going to rest on its laurels. They may lose their best gaming CPU title, and they don't want to do that because yes, the 7800X3D is still the top gaming CPU that money can buy at the moment. Not that money can buy it at the moment. They're hard to find, even for SIs out there. I've been hearing from left and right that, you know, we can't get 7800X3Ds. They're not in stock. They're not available from our distributors, yada, yada. This could be AMD, you know, sort of doing a halt on production there because they know they're going to be launching the 9800X3D sooner. It's hard to say, but the result is the same, that it's very difficult for in retail and for SIs to get 7800X3Ds. This is the hard part for someone doing what I do, because before the launch of 9000 series Ryzen, I was forced to take the tone of like, hey, wait, hold up, we want to see how these do. And then they were lackluster. The launch was pretty lackluster. Now with an AGISA update, we have less CCD, less lag from one CCD to another, less latency, I should say. And it's performing better, but that's not what people pay attention to. They pay attention to the first videos that launched, and that's something that AMD should have sorted out before they launched their product. So we're going to be seeing Arrow Lake launching from Intel, and we're going to be seeing specifically the Ryzen 7 9800X3D, which, to be clear, that's kind of the simplest X3D chip because it's just one CCD with 3D cache on it. When you look at the Ryzen 9s, being the, I guess, the 9900X3D and 9950X3D that will be coming out, those are going to be later on. They're pushing out the 8-core CPU because that's probably the simpler one, and they're stating that they're trying to do something different with the 3D cache technology. Hopefully, it's not going to be as annoying as the fact that they have core parking on the non-3D cache 9950X. Or Ryzen 9s. It's really, really annoying that they did that, and I don't know why they did that. But this is exciting stuff because for those of you who are okay with waiting, it looks like they're going to be holding an event on October 10th called Advancing AI, according to Digital Trends here. And that links to an article from AMD. It's a press release from AMD. And it's mainly going to focus on AMD's Instinct AI accelerators, yada, yada, AI stuff. Yay, that's so exciting for the average consumer. No, it's not. But it'll also feature networking and AI PC updates. But the gaming-focused 3D cache chips are unlikely to show up at that event. But it could be there. They could use that thing that they already have scheduled as a way to announce that early, because if they're going to be launching it in late October, as is rumored, well, the rumors kind of go two ways. There's a rumor that late October launch, actual launch of it where you can buy it. And there's also a rumor that it'll be late October announcement with an early November launch. So basically, with this news, with these rumors, that means that we're now within the 4-week period of a potential launch. That means, yeah, hold up, just give it a minute. Hold off on your purchases until then, I guess, if you're in a budget of $1,500 or higher for a pre-built PC or for a parts list for a DIY PC, because this might fit into that budget. Usually I would say $2,000 and up, generally. If you just cannot wait, there are still some options out there for 7800X3D systems. Usually it's going to be something where it's already allocated into a system, already built, ready to ship, things like that. But we're not going to go into that because I did a video on that for the last SI Weekly, and some of those should still be available. However, don't expect to see a huge variety of systems with that particular CPU. But now we're going to talk GPUs and the fabled 5090, which you don't need, to be clear. Most people do not need a 5090 any more than they needed a 4090, okay? But still, people want them, especially if you're really in there with a high budget. So there are tons and of course tons of rumors for the 50 series. There have been for a while now. Copite7 Kimmy here, a longtime leaker of information, was leaking info for in the cryptic fashion that they do for both the 5090 and the 5080. And here on videocards.com, they sort of aggregated information here and rumored specs. But the thing about it is 40 series still performs really, really well. It's just that you can't really get 4090s very easily right now because it is pretty much accepted that Nvidia is stopping production on those in earlier mid-October to make room for the 50 series cards. Same thing should happen with 5080 in that case. So though the 4090 and the 4080 Super are great for performance, well, I guess I shouldn't mention the 4080 Super, still a relatively new card. The 4090 over 2 years ago is when that was announced and then launched. And they're looking apparently to really beef up the 5090. I mean, in a ridiculous way. It is possible that the 5090 could require a power supply with a dual 12V 2x6 power connector. So, I mean, which is the replacement for 12V HPWR with shortened connectors on the 4 sense pins on there. But anyways, it's very interesting. They're basically saying the 5090 is going to be 600 watts, though the 12V HPWR and 12V 2x6 power connectors are supposed to be able to deliver 600 watts already. The thing is, there were the Founders Edition 4090, I believe, was at a TGP of 450 watts, but then you have, of course, the add-in board partners, the AIB partners, coming in with more demanding OC cards that are saying that they can get up to that 600 watts. And this is coming in at a baseline 600, so it could get higher than that, and thus could require the 12V 2x6, 2 of those. What you might see from AIBs, and this is probably what would be preferred, to be honest, what you might see is a 12V 2x6 connector and then an additional 8-pin PCIe power connector. That could be a thing, because then you're going to get that bump over 600 watts that most AIBs would need if they're going to be adding in another 100 watts or 150 watts. That should cover it. What I'm most excited about, honestly, for those who are in the prosumer space, is the fact that they have finally overcome, apparently, according to the rumors, finally overcome that maximum of 24 gigs of VRAM. So it's rumored that the 5090 is going to potentially come with 32 gigabytes of GDDR7, which is sort of the next step past GDDR6X, which is what 40 series cards use, except for the lower end ones. And it's going to supposedly have a 512-bit bus, which is awesome. It was previously rumored to be lower than that, which this is actually going to potentially utilize that faster GDDR7 and 32 gigs of it, whereas the 5080 is going to stay at the 16 gigs level, but it's still going to be that faster GDDR7. The gulf, though, between the 5090 and the 5080 is widening here. This right here actually helps us compare the 4090 and 4080 to the 5090 and 5080 rumors. Now, there are a lot of details here, and because a lot of my audience is newer to this stuff, we won't get into what each of the different things are. But if you just take the numbers, put them into a calculator, and calculate percentage differences, that percentage difference is widening. That's it. You're also, so the CUDA core bump, we're talking about 21,760 potential CUDA cores rumored for the 5090. That is, I guess, to go with the technical term, redonkulous. That's the one. But you'll notice that the 5080 is kind of sticking close to what the 4080 had, from 76 SAMs up to 84, and CUDA cores are only being bumped up about 1,000 rather than the 4 or 5,000 bump in CUDA cores between the 4090 and the 5090. It's pretty ridiculous. So they're really pushing that 5090 to be even more of a monster. So there aren't really any good projections on price, but they have sold a $2,000 GPU before with the 3090 Ti. Yeah, It's going to be ridiculous. Plus, we're also looking finally at them switching over to PCIe Gen 5. Now, the rumored launch, rumors on that can be all over the place. I'm guessing, and it has been rumored, I'm guessing an announcement at CES 2025. So what that means, if I want to be there and announce it from there, I mean, I could just talk about it from here, but like, I haven't missed CES for the last 2 years, and I'd like to not miss it again. But that means going back to Vegas. There's just a lot of stuff going on here. It is going to be really crazy, and I'm guessing that I am going to want to be there. So we'll see what we can do about that. I'll try to make it out to CES again. But I'll tell you what, if it's going to be at the cost of going to Computex next year, no way, not missing that again. Cuddles, please go with me next year. You would love it. That's enough about rumor stuff. It really, what it means is that maybe Nvidia, for the high-end buyers out there, it might be Nvidia doing you guys a favor by not having the FIP 4090 be that available to short the availability of that, because honestly, a couple of months before this, if you're going to be spending $1,700 or $1,800 on a card, it could, that extra couple of months, the performance difference that we're looking at between the 4090 and the 5090 by these rumors is going to be pretty crazy. So maybe not to the same extent as a 3090 to 4090 difference, but yeah, it is going to be a very tangible difference. So story time. So I know you can get your hardware rumors anywhere. I was just kind of giving you my take on it. Basically, what's going to happen is this. For the AMD 9800X 3D, I'm hoping that it will actually launch in late October. And what that'll mean is that some SIs might have them right after launch, but generally a week or two after that, SIs will have it. And we'll see if we can get a system that has it so we can test it out. I'm pretty excited about it. Arrow Lake, I want to get a system, test it out. That is slated to be late October, so, or sometime in October, and that's like now is October, so give it a couple of weeks. Arrow Lake should be coming out, and so should this. But generally, when the newest things come out, it's going to take a little bit for the for system integrators to get them, unless they're directly partnered with that manufacturer and they're part of the launch of those CPUs. So when we see those launches go up, when we hear from them about it, watch for any SIs that are mentioned, and some of the big names should be there. So that, you know what, leave it up to me. I'll figure it out. I'll have a video for it. Yeah, we're getting back into regular episodes of SI Weekly. But I want to tell you guys a quick story of TwitchCon that I just went to and came back from. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun because I wasn't really up there for TwitchCon. I was up there for something else that you guys are going to hear about soon, which I cannot wait for. Not that soon. You got to give it some time. But we're working on something very, very cool. However, while I was there, and I was actually hanging out with the Jay's 2 Cents crew a little bit because they were doing something with PNY and Nvidia out there, which there's a giveaway PC. If I can get a link for that giveaway, I'll drop it down there because it was really cool watching Jay build this PC and in front of a crowd, and then now PNY and Nvidia are giving it away. There's a video for it. I'm actually in the background of the video. That's what I'm going to link. And Cuddles, can you get some footage of me just meandering in the background while Jay was building the PC? That would be great. Anyway, that video is going to be linked right here. Go check that out. And there's a giveaway in the description of that video. Go join it because you can win a PC built by Jay. And more importantly, built by Jay in front of me while I was hanging out and trolling them a little bit. But while I was hanging out with some of them, someone walked up to me from the BenQ Mobius booth. And they told me that they are, I don't know if they would want me to name them, but they told me that they had been watching my videos, and in December they started an SI, and they based sort of their methodology and their policies for the SI off of these videos. I guess I should have expected something like that to happen at some point, but I wouldn't expect that. I mean, that would be ridiculous for me to just expect, like, hey, if anyone's opening up a PC building company out there, you just follow these guidelines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why would I expect that? That would be, I don't know, egotistical of me. But no, they told me that they liked the way that I thought that SI should run, the way things should work. And the sort of minimum things that I expect from certain systems at certain price points, things like that. And they're like, no, look, here's our pamphlet. It's all listed right there. And I was like, oh my God, it is. So now we're gonna put them in the spotlight. Hope you're ready. So the name of the SI in question is Reactor Gaming. And again, they started up in December and they were already there at TwitchCon with BenQ, which is super cool. Like, I love to see that. I love to see a startup company sort of just like go for it like that. Now, you'll see that there is a lot of stuff down here. We're going to go back up to the systems and stuff, but the guarantees here, a lot of things that I personally have mentioned and said I want to see more of. Okay, things like this, upgradable by you. All our systems are upgradable by you, and upgrades won't void your warranty, staying true to our commitment to gamers and esports teams. That's one thing that they focus on here is they focus on high school and collegiate esports teams, a very, very cool niche. They do in-depth stress testing. They do have a price match guarantee, which you don't see that touted very often. They do have lifetime support. Yeah, so here's the thing. There is a parts warranty, and then apparently labor and tech support are lifetime. But the basic message here, the first thing you see, starting at $599, so you have a low buy-in point. Building a quality, that's crazy by the way. Building a quality and affordable system is hard, but we make it simple and fast with multiple options to best fit your needs. Our systems come with a range of features that are included as standard, ensuring you get the best value for your investment. With these essential inclusions, we guarantee a seamless and immersive gaming experience every time. And you apparently can customize, and they even have gaming laptops. So there are custom builds, okay? There are pre-designed builds, so they're pre-configured, and then the gaming laptops. Now there's two featured PCs here, okay? The Zenith 9 and Fusion 9. One of them is going to be Nvidia, one of them is going to be AMD graphics. Now these are both $1499, and they are both 1440p or higher systems. So that for a small SI is mighty impressive. So this is with a 7600X and a 7900 XT AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT. I'm going to tell you, once you go up to 1440p or 4K for your gaming, your CPU doesn't have to be a 7800X 3D. A 7600X is just fine for that. Why? Well, at higher resolutions, your GPU, no matter how powerful it is going to be cranking out fewer frames per second, meaning the CPU's got less work to do. So the onus is on the GPU to do most of the work at higher resolutions. Keep that in mind for future things. Now, these do come with 16 gigs of DDR5, though it would be in dual channel. But what I'd like to see here is if we can customize these featured systems. And it looks like you can. So it may be that you can make a request to then say, hey, can I make it 32 gigs of RAM? Because honestly, games are getting, oh wait, no, hold on. Wait. I'm confused here. This is 32 gigs DDR5 right here and here. I would just leave this expanded, by the way. One thing to remember about socket AM5, your motherboard choice is pretty important because one of the whole points of AM5 is that they're going to be supporting it for years to come. So a lot of people will go with AM5 for their platform because of that future upgradability. If you get if you get the cheapest motherboard you can, then you're stuck with that because that's the idea, right? Now, they do have a requirement of minimum 1 terabyte M.2 drive, and this looks like a fast one too at 7.3 gigabytes per second or 7.3 thousand megabytes per second sequential read speeds and up to 6400 megabytes per second sequential write speeds. A 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply, which does fit in with the minimum requirements of 7900 XT, 32 gigs DDR5 5600, though that is a very workable frequency for the RAM. 6,000 is supposed to be the sweet spot, but you have to look at the price. You have to look at this and be like, hey, there's going to be some caveats here. And this was a DreamHack special. In order to reach these prices, 7600X, 7900 XT, for $1,500, you're going to make some sacrifices here and there. We do have a tower cooler on here, and that is the 7600X is fine when being cooled by a tower cooler. And I've never heard of the Okinos 3, but I do think I got to take a look at this case at TwitchCon. I believe they had it. And it's a pretty nice looking case. I would have to build in it really to be able to tell you the quality of it, but I do see mesh down here for any fans that are on the bottom for potential intake on the top. I noticed this one does not have a power supply in it somehow, but I will say this here is incorrect. This says 16 gigs DDR5 5600, and I felt the need to comment on that but then the default is 32 gigs. So might want to fix that. Well, this says it's a B650M right here, right? And this looks like an M-ATX case. But then when you go in here, interestingly enough, then it says it's an A620M. Well, like I said, newer company, these kinds of things need to be ironed out, but you do need to have correct information, and one of those is incorrect. So just something to take a look at. So because they were at TwitchCon, they do have some deals here. It may be that these are the PCs that were on display there, so you have some special deals. I'm not as interested in that because this video is going to be on YouTube forever. So those deals won't be there forever. Remember my disclaimer about pricing and availability? Yeah. But I want to see this, less than $1,000. Let's see what they're throwing out there for less than $1,000. They do guarantee at least a terabyte in their pamphlet anyway, at least a terabyte of storage. And that does look to be true here. These all have at least a terabyte. When I was giving sort of my minimums, here was how I said it. I said that if your PC is under $2,000, I'd recommend a minimum of 1 terabyte of storage, because if you do a 512, that's like your operating system and like 3 AAA titles, and you're running out of space already. If you have 1 terabyte, well, then you have more space for games. Plus, storage is pretty easy to add, honestly. What we'll probably see here, let's go ahead and take a look through the systems. We might see some older generation technology here, and that's totally fine. That's how you get some of these prices, like this one for $599. This is how they get on that banner, starting at $599. So what's in here? This is an AMD Ryzen 5 4500 and an RX 580. Pros and cons here. Let's take a look at the detailed specs. There are pros and cons to this. So this is a 6-core CPU, okay? And because of it being a B450M, that is on socket AM4, you could later on go to Micro Center if they have a 5600X3D or you find yourself a 5800X3D and put a massive CPU upgrade in this. And because this is not an A-class motherboard, it should be able to handle that. The RX 580 though is a card that can still run games at 1080p without really much problem, as long as you don't max out your settings. This right here for $600 is not bad. 16 gigs DDR4, 3200. A 1 terabyte M.2 drive, and they're apparently buying fast M.2 drives in bulk. These are PCIe Gen 4. 650 watt power supply is more than enough for an RX 580 system. The AMD Wraith cooler should be more than enough for a 6-core Ryzen 5 4500. And they're using this case in a lot of systems. I guess it is a nice looking case, and I'm guessing it's working out for them. But for just gaming systems, which this is just a gaming system at $600, it's not bad. Also, it would be cool to be able to see images of this. Like, what's the I/O look like? Am I going to have 5 USB ports and then just like run out? Like, that's it? The only image here is this image here. And I feel like this might be an image from, I've seen this before. This could be an image from the case manufacturer. Reactor, if that's what you're doing, don't do that. You need to replace these images with PCs you have built. Okay? If I'm going to call out Apex Gaming PCs and you do not want to categorize yourself with those guys, then I'm going to call you all out for it too. Like here, this one right here has just a picture of an empty case. Don't do that. If you're selling pre-configured systems, like this one right here, look at that. There you go. Another just empty case. If you're selling pre-configured systems, that means this is something that you'll sell more than one of. Build the thing, take nice pictures, put that on your website. Do not do this. This is lazy and I don't like it. Yeah, let's see here. If we shop now in the TwitchCon deals, these were all real PCs. So there we go. See, we have pictures of the PCs built. That is what I want to see. Now, what happens when we go for the higher end here? I'm curious. This is a very cursory, quick look through here. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to sell a system for $3,000, you should probably have a picture of the actual computer, especially if this was a DreamHack special and you had them in, I don't know how you would have it at DreamHack. That's usually all CLX. I see a $3,000 system. I see another $3,000 system, and these are just empty case pictures. But let's at least see what some of these specs are for some of these. I'm seeing 14900Ks, and I hesitate to recommend those. I'm basically reserving any recommendation of Intel CPUs until we see how Arrow Lake goes, because even though they released new microcode, they just did it again where Intel has been like, hey, by the way, we fixed the microcode again. Wait, was it not fixed before? I'm running on that microcode right now. What the heck, Intel? So yeah, but there are a couple systems here that run off of the 7950X3D, this one and this one. This one's 2329 with a, we're looking at this right here. The 4090 one is 3,300 bucks, but no. If you want to get pretty much peak performance without getting a 4090, like the closest you can get, basically, the 7900X TX is it. So let's look at the specs here. 7950X3D for the CPU, 16 cores, 32 threads. Plus you have 8 of those cores. One of those CCDs has 3DB cache. The GPU is a 7900X TX, 24 gigs of VRAM, GDDR6. This thing is monstrous in rasterized 4K gaming. It is crazy. 1440p, very high frame rate. Just really, really good stuff. 32 gigs DDR5 6000. Nice. You hit that AMD sweet spot with this. And a B650E. Okay, yeah. All right. I mean, that's one of the reasons it's $2,329. 2 terabyte M.2 drive. That's pretty much the same drive. 1000 watt 80 plus gold drive. We don't know which one it is, whether it's fully modular or not. This does state that it has a Deepcool LS720. Now, SIs are allowed to sell whatever Deepcool stuff they have in inventory. So I'm guessing that this is going to change right here. But man, a 7950X3D and a 7900X TX system for $2,329 is pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. Let's look at what the configurator is like. I could look at the gaming laptops, but until I get some laptops to really look at and review, I'm not too keen on it. Okay, so here, this you get to choose AMD or Intel. Now, the custom desktop starts at $16.19 and 91 cents. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll stick with AMD. And for case selection, it is all a PVIA. And it's also, it looks like you have a couple Montech ones here as well. So I do like Montech cases. And they have the King 95. I think y'all should grab those. Those are really good cases. And yeah, look, in the configurator, you can get the 7600X3D, which, to be clear, is exclusive to Micro Center. So that is wild. 9900X, 9950X, 9600X. So these are not in order of price. That's a little confusing. Let's say we're doing a 1440p gaming machine, right? So we're already on the 7600X3D, right? No, let's select that. It's $60 off. I do like the aesthetic here with like the pink sort of neon glowing around it. When you select something, it's pretty cool. Let's see if we can go with just an actual full ATX motherboard, B650 motherboard. This is just going to be a random B650. Sure. Here's my thing. Okay. I've got a big old hang up on something here. And that is when you take a full ATX case, a full size ATX case for full size ATX motherboards, and you put an MATX motherboard in there. I don't think that should be an option because you can't make that look good. In my opinion, I don't like it. So my thing would be to limit MATX motherboards to MATX cases, I guess, but that's just me. I don't know. It's my opinion. Told you guys there would be those. There would be opinions in this. So we have a B650 motherboard of a variety of options there. Okay. Now let's look at GPUs. Cheapest one, RX 590, but that's not what's automatically selected at that default price. What is automatically selected is a 4070 Super. That's an excellent choice. I love the 4070 Super. Now the default is 32 gigs of DDR5 5600. Is it going to be Corsair Vengeance RGB? I don't know. That's what's pictured here. But if it's not going to be that, make sure we know what potential ones might be. But 32 gigs is totally fine. 550 watts should no longer be an option here. I shouldn't be able to choose this. So compatibility filters are difficult, and there's a lot to it. But what I'm guessing happens here is if someone goes in, they configure their system with a 4090 and they leave it on the 550 watt, you would then send a cheeky little email to them saying like, hey, your system's going to cost a little more because we have to put an actual realistic power supply in here. That's not 550 watts, but that's enough to run the 4090 itself and not the rest of the computer. Like that's it. So yeah, we're going to bump this up to an 850 watt 80 plus gold right there. Okay, that could run off of a 750 watt power supply, but I like to have a little extra power. I'd like to have it and not need it rather than need it and not have it. So, okay. Not the performance. Probably my favorite drive from Inland is a Performance Plus, but I'm guessing the T470 is the one that is getting that 7300 megabyte per second sequential write speed. Not too sure, but there are a lot of options here. It is only $65 more to get the 2 terabyte though. Take note of that. You can also add an additional M.2 drive, which is nice, but let's go ahead and push this up to the 2 terabytes. That's what I would suggest. I'd suggest a 2 terabyte drive. There's a lot of air coolers here. My thing about air cooling for a pre-built is that some of these air coolers that we're seeing here are pretty hefty, and all that weight is resting on the socket. So I prefer AIOs for pre-builts for that reason. Most of the weight of your CPU's cooler is mounted to the chassis with the radiator and fans, whereas just a CPU block is mounted to the motherboard. But either way, if you've got a way to secure these in shipping, then good, if you're confident in that. For that 7600X, I've never tested one myself. The default here is a Be Quiet Pure Rock 2. Let's bump this up to, let's do a 240. All right, what are we doing? Are we doing a black build? Nah, I'd rather do a white build. And plus this X1 here is $35 less. Actually, it's Prism Elite right here. But yeah, we'll do a white cooler then to go with this. That looks like it needs a 360. All right, it's only $20 more. 360 millimeter AIO. Overcool, it's too much for the 7600X 3D, but why not? Now, something that they do here is you do get sleeved braided cable extensions for free, and you get to choose a color from all of these. And I approve of these because they have the best color, which is objectively the best color, purple. So we go with purple cables, purple cables in a white build. So clean. And this, with all these customizations, has come out to $17, $19, and 91 cents. We basically added $100 with our changes. There you go. Not bad. And maybe in the future, whoever's doing your web dev could throw in something in the back end where I can actually link builds to people, because that encourages me to make recommendations of builds that people can buy with their money dollars. So yeah. Anyway, I think I've looked at that enough for now. Again, still in the relative to other SIs, still in the early stages here. And but I'm overall very pleased with what I saw. Some of the pricing stuff is, I mean, most of the pricing stuff was really good, very competitive, particularly for a smaller SI, very good. And I'm happy with what I see, particularly with some of the guarantees that are there and the minimums that you do. You know, I'm looking forward to what y'all do in the future. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see me review a system from Reactor Gaming, and let's see what we can do. But that is going to be it for this episode. It was a bit meandering because there was some hardware news and then one SI that we looked at. And also, one thing I don't know about Reactor Gaming yet is what their turnaround time is like. That might have been listed somewhere. If it is, I'll put that right here, what expected turnaround is, like whether it's, hey, put in an order, you get it in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. I'm excited to see what comes from that and how things go for them. But as for this, where things are going for this episode, they are going to end. Thank you for watching, everybody. And until the next one, take care.